chart of the moment for this recording. Okay, welcome back. Welcome in, team. This video is not only like an overview of my general timeline, and each of these points will probably have their own treatment, their own video. Overall, the timeline was I spent about 6 months gathering all of my notes. And then the first thing I really did to apply it, other than trying to read my own chart, and like reading your own chart is what gets you into it for the most part, right? Or like reading other people's charts because you're like, oh my God, I can see it working. And then you learn some of the basics and you're like, okay, like most of it makes sense, but some of it doesn't really apply. And like just the generic stuff you find online isn't 100% going to apply because that's just technical stuff. You have to apply it like in the real world to your chart and to your life. And that's where you get the nuance, and that's where it's like, wow, this works, comes from. But how do you apply it? How do you start learning with the basics? I did lunar stuff. So the moon was like my first planet that I built a relationship with. Through this beginning of doing lunar stuff, I was still just using like random internet sources. I was using my loose leaf notes that I had made, gathering the basics, and then I was supplementing it with like more. I didn't have a proper source, so I would just like Google stuff and try and figure out using what I talked about in the other video about sorting sources, about, I knew to avoid Vedic. And if someone was, like, if I didn't like someone's tone, I wouldn't read it. But for the most part, I was just like gathering all of the information that I could gather. Um, and then along that time, I also started like some other adjacent study. I got a Reiki course that turned me on to like researching more about witchcraft. This will have its own, I'll detail all that. I started getting lots of stuff from the library and I kept like a list of basically this year of what I was doing. So like I'll share that as well. Um, and then it wasn't until about a year or so after starting completely that I started feeling the need to like have an actual place to put notes and study, and didn't want to use like the loose leaf stuff. So that started, and then I found the astrology podcast, and like right at a really like I came in at a really sweet time when a whole bunch of basics was fully available, and some like fuller treatments of the basics were becoming available like in real time while I was studying. So like that was super cool. And then at the time as well, like in the next like transitory period, um, I had like a lot of lectures that I attended. I joined the Astrological Association, like that's local to my hometown. Maybe your town or your area has one, but you can join them anywhere online and like then just see who has good speakers and who's in your price point and like who meets when you're available and like join them. Um, and then one of those bodies was going through like a transition on their website, so they were having a whole bunch of free webinars, and it's usually behind a paywall. So I got a lot from that, um, and that kind of tightened everything up and had me just keep rolling through different things to learn about. And then I got into last year, like 2024, I started a journal, and like it's still going. I still have it open. I have another journal that I'm filling up. And you lose things to like take notes about because I've kind of like petered out of like at least free lectures that I get anything out of, especially in the branch that I'm still studying in. Like I'm not trying to branch out. I'm learning more and more of like keywords or perspectives or approaches to like just avoid. Like if someone has something titled a certain way, I'm probably not gonna enjoy it. Or if there's like yet another lecture on a technique that like I have found does not work for me, I'm probably gonna skip it like for now. So yeah, you just kind of like lose things to study. So it's like what goes in my books now, and we'll talk about that at some other point. But that's the basic overview of my timeline and like how things progressed for me. And basically for the past year, like all of 2025 and a bit of 2024, and the whole time, I have been wanting to share, like basically share my notes with the class. Because and like for 10 years I've been wanting to get on YouTube because the way I talk about stuff, the way I'm talking about stuff here with you is just the way my mind works. I'm always narrating, and every time I'm like narrating something, I'm like, this would be good for a beginner. Or I'm like, wow, that would be like I'm narrating it to and for myself. So I'm like, wow, that would have been helpful to hear or have at my disposal. Like when I was on the pre side of that narration, and now that it's succinct, can't it do somebody some good? That kind of thing. And I was aware of and wanted to appreciate that there's so much depth to astrology, and there's such a progression from beginner even to like advanced beginner or beginner that has the basics to intermediate, that you can really quickly lose the ability to appreciate that a beginner has no idea what you mean when you say Mars. They have no idea of the depth, of the color, of of the atmosphere of that word. And then they'll come off as like, so what, like a Mars bar, like really flippant, and then you get really defensive, like, don't you know this is sacred, like this is serious. But they have no idea, like the word Mars to them is the chocolate bar, is men are from Mars, women are from Venus, is like Marvin the Martian, is is just a planet in the sky that never gets referenced, is a like Greek god or Roman god or whatever from junior high, like social studies or religious studies or whatever, or English studies, like however you, whatever you learned it as. And they don't, like, it doesn't mean anything. And you so quickly develop like an idea of and a relationship with and like a depth to the word and the phrase and the meaning and the significations of Mars, and you can really quickly lose sight or like kind of lose the perspective that yeah, that person has no idea what you're talking about. But then also as you progress, you do lose the patience to talk about what Mars is, and to be like, well, we can hold it from this angle and we can hold it from this angle, and if you look at it from this side, and this is how you can find it in your life. And since I'm always narrating like this, every time I take notes for myself, I'm doing this. I'm getting tired of doing that. And so it's time to just release it and share it so I can move on, because I've also found as soon as I like share a technique or an energetic technique or something that I'm using, it shifts and I go to like a deeper, or like I go to a different level. I graduate. Having shared it, I release it and I graduate to like a different method. So I would like to hear some different stuff. So I need to get this stuff out. And I've been trying the whole time to share it. I've had the equipment to share it for about a year now. I got this camera and this telescoping tripod last November from someone that like gifted them to me. They were like, "What do you need to get on YouTube?" And I was like, "I need this." And they just got it for me, which was amazing. So thank you, thank them, etc. Blessings. And I haven't been able to share it because I have been working. So at the end of this video will be like a longer spiel, a longer plea. But essentially I'm asking for your patronage. I'm asking for people that like aren't artistic or like truly just don't really mind working. Like, I'm not saying people like working, but for some people it's truly just not like a big deal, or they have resources, they have money to share, they're going to spend it anyway, like they prefer to help people. Help me. I want people to understand that artists sharing what they know, hermits, mystics sharing what they know, we require patronage to do that. It's not that we're not doing it if we don't have the support. We may be doing it to a limited level, but if we like if part of our gift is in the world to share it, if we need the support of the world to do so. And I can support myself. I can be responsible for myself. I can make my stuff not other people's problem. Like my true work is supporting my body in the kitchen and like doing these kind of things that like support like my whole self. That the meta level of getting the resources for that support to do those actions, I can't really handle that. And individual people are not meant to handle that because like we're a communal species. I'm meant to be on the fringes of the community, and they come to me and bring me stuff, and I exist like that. Maybe not abundantly, but like an abundancy, an abundantness that is like true for me. And not everybody has to be the artist. Not everybody has to be the mystic. Not everybody has to release, how their brain works because they've gotten the message so many times that it's helpful for other people to see it. So you don't have to do that. But oh my God, if you would like to see it, please support me. I have not been able to release it because I've been working. And at the end of September, beginning of October, I was like, well, I'm not going to do that anymore. And it's like I'm playing chicken with the universe because it's like if I have this stuff to share with the world, then I need the support of the world to do it. Like, if the stars want me to be a voice for them, the stars have to catch me. Please. And the like deal I or like the threat, the like point I've come to is like, and if I can't be like supported, like if I've got to do it all alone, if the world won't support me, then the world will lose me. Like I can't do it both. I can't go back, team. I can't go back to the real world. Please offer your patronage. More will be at the end. That was all very very vulnerable. I'm sorry if that like derailed things. Okay, hey team. I've got my camera just on my shirt here, so like hopefully that works out. This is the continuation of like my plea or my ask. Um and I don't know on what videos this is going to be, but this is the continuation of like I've got something to share and I could share it with the world, but I need more support from the world to share it. Otherwise, I'm not able to participate at all. And I feel like the obvious question or answer will be like, "Well, get a job." And bestie, I've tried that. I've tried all of them. I've tried every job, and I just can't do it anymore. And then the next question is like, okay, well, you have a Patreon, like put stuff up there for people to buy. And my experiment right now is just seeing if I can find patronage without the kind of like we pay you play, without trying to hustle, without trying to be like, well, what do I get for it? You get that I am here in the world sharing what I've got to share. So whether you help support me one time with $4 or through a season, or we build a years long relationship of you being a patron of the arts, of the mystical arts, of supporting some little hermit artist in being able to like keep their spark alive and then like share that light with the world. You could be a part of that. That would be amazing for me if you would agree to be a part of that. And I'm playing with the idea of like just finding patrons and patronage where like if you've got it to give and it's easy to give and you want to give, I'm receiving without the like, well, what do I get from it? But as a patron, like of any artist or mystic or hermit, it's like you then are on the inside to be one of the first people, if I need a chart to hash out publicly or not, like whose charts do I have access to that are real people that are obviously vested in keeping me afloat? Your chart. Or if you have an idea about this would be good or this topic or even a non like astrology esoteric topic, like I've always had trouble like parsing this, I would like to hear it in your voice. It's like that opens up the space for me to respond to that. So instead of not having anything on Patreon and thus saying like there's no perks for you, there's probably plenty of perks, but I have no desire, no will, and no ability to hustle and grind and try and figure out what you want to pay for, like on any level, and then put work towards it and like market it and put it on there and polish it on the hopes that you'll pay for it. When like all I can do is this essentially. And I'm doing what I can, and I want to keep doing it, and I hope to keep doing it. And yeah, so this is me begging. This is me pleading and hoping and requesting like your favor and your patronage. Um, Whether it's a couple dollars, so thankful. This camera's not working out, so thankful. Or it's like continued support for a season or, for a chapter. Unbelievable support. I am a Renaissance man, and the only reason a Renaissance man or like people that are into a lot of stuff and can combine a lot of ideas and have that time is because they're supported. It's like the book Who Cooked the Last Supper. It's primarily the work of women, but like it's having that support in the wings where you don't have to think too much about food or about cleaning or about money or about where your resources are coming on. You could just think. And yes, I think everybody deserves that time and everybody deserves the life of an artist. And yes, we have the resources to make it possible. Unfortunately, our system is fucked. And so it's not a reality, but it's also not a reality that everybody feels the same barriers to work and to like wanting to be in this world if I've got to work for it that I do. And so for the people that don't have the time or the brain power or the desire or already have the resources, and it doesn't have to be about work and the trading of like, well, someone's got to work, how come not you? There's people out there that have resources, and if that's one of you and you're like, I could give money, please help me. You know this the phrase like help me to help you. I'm trying. I am trying to get you to help me to help me. I am open to it. So anyway, that is my poorly filmed, unscripted, like poorly, not very coherent, poorly phrased plea that if you like the work I'm doing here, you would like to see more, you would like to request some work, there are links below that you can send tips to. There's Patreon, which you can like dedicate just at a month at a time if you want to, dedicated amounts of patronage, and then we'll see what you get once I have patrons. Or there's also an email in the description below that you can email for like inquiries, or if you want to see a certain topic, or if you want to e-transfer anything. That would be direct, there would be no delays, there would be no fees. All of your support, including just your energetic support, like sitting here and watching me ramble and not clicking off when I start talking about like my needs and my woes. It's all great. So thanks very much for your time and your patience, and your support in whatever form. Okay, see you again. Bye. It's the only thing on my mind, team. Both of my chart rulers, my sect light and my chart ruler, are in the second house of money, but nobody's in the house of work. And the in the joy of God, the ruler of that is Moon, and Jupiter's there. My chart rulers can't see my ascendant, but Jupiter can by trine. Jupiter can't see his ruler, who can't see his ruler, because that's a mutual reception loop. But what if they trusted each other and they were there with each other's permission, particularly since Jupiter has exaltation in Cancer? And so my little mantra is, I'm not here to work. I'm here to be supported by God. Okay? Fingers crossed, team. That's what we're working on. Okay. That's what I got. Thank you so much. Hey, team. Thanks for watching this far. This is my impassioned plea for support, and I'm lulling you in with pictures of my little boy here. So I am basically in a game of chicken with the universe, and I can't go back to the real world and real work, and I need this to work somehow. There's no business plan, there's no receipts. I just need it to work. And so I am seeking your patronage. The benefits of patronage are varied and personal, but here are some ideas from johncanningco.com about the benefits of patronage and maintaining art and artistic presence and allowing the work that artists and mystics and hermits do to be what they're sharing instead of the work of survival, and then maybe they get to share or practice on top of it. I'm here, I'm ready to share, I'm ready to keep doing this work and more work, but I need support, I need help. So personally, the benefits of patronage would be that you would essentially be helping to ensure my survival. If I can focus on the sharing of information, including what has helped my survival, instead of focusing all the time on surviving, that would be obviously ideal. I'm not asking to thrive, I'm not asking for wealth. I'm asking for the type of abundance that lets me live quietly in isolation with not very much except for a roof over my head and food in my tummy and my cat's tummy, and sharing this information. The main benefit would be that you know that you're supporting a lonely hermit, neurodivergent, who has minimal support in the world. And you would know that you are helping to share art, esoteric knowledge, and hope. Not only the messages of hope that I may be able to spread, but the beacon and the welling of hope that would become my person, knowing that I am supported in this work. If you want a bigger explanation or a longer spiel about my situation or about the situation I find myself in, where I am now here begging you to please offer your patronage and help, that is linked below at the last timestamp. Otherwise, here is the contact information. A few dollars for a season, a few dollars for a chapter of my life. Literally anything is so helpful. If my situation changes and I am no longer seeking survival support, if I get to a place where my survival support is taken care of and I can move into growth, and what people may call abundance or wealth, I will for sure update this little message and not continue it in this fashion. But until then, oh, typo, e-transfer. You can e-transfer support or email inquiries to the same email at wishthinkerdesign@gmail.com. Any tips, donations, or there's some Bibles and readings available at buymeacoffee/wishthinker. There is also a tarot YouTube on Wishthinker. Tips and donations can also be sent via PayPal at Hermitarius. And I do have a Patreon. There are no tiers or extra tidbits available. That can come after. Once I know what you want, I can give you what you want once you are my patron. But before then, I am not trying to figure out what people would want to buy from me. I am just trying to share the work and stay alive. And you could help.